The two upcoming infantry commanders have been revealed on the official Rise of Kingdoms Facebook and Instagram pages. So let's get a look at everything that's been shared so far and everything we can figure out. Governors, the new historical commanders, are joining Rise of Kingdoms soon. The Arabian general of Berber descent, Tariq Ibn Ziyad. Now, look, I may not be pronouncing this correctly, and I don't know if that's Ibn or Bin. So let me know in the comments how to pronounce this, if you know how it's pronounced correctly. He is one of the most important generals in the history of the Iberian Peninsula, and he showed great skill in warfare, with history books recording his daring landing at what is now Gibraltar. Yeah, I did a little bit of looking, and it sounded like he did some sort of burn the boats thing where his troops arrived, they burned their boats and said, hey, look, there's only one way and that's forward, no retreat, so let's freaking go. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what I found in just a quick search. The other is Sargon, founder of the Akkadian Empire, Sargon the Great. He established the first reserve army force in history. Sargon's achievements were not limited to warfare. His empire saw great economic, agricultural, and cultural development, and he centralized the power of the state and appointed governors, allowing the Akkadian Empire to thrive. Now, people have been joking that on the left here, you've got Gilgamesh Prime, and on the right, you have Saladin Prime. And although I definitely see the resemblance, I don't think that's exactly a coincidence that they look a little bit similar. Of course, the appearance is not really what we're here to talk about, although it's possible that, like every other commander in Rise of Kingdoms, they skipped leg day. What we're here to talk about today is, what are these commanders going to do? What talent trees are they probably going to have? And when are they going to arrive in game? So let's jump in game to talk about that. First and foremost, let's talk about when these commanders are going to arrive, because that's something where we've got a little bit more information on how we can figure this out. The developers themselves have said probably middle of December, but maybe in January. Now, I think that middle of December is the sweet spot, and let me explain that. We're in the middle of a leadership commander cycle. That is going to end on the 26th. 2 weeks later, it's going to be November 10th, and that will be the conclusion of the next Mightiest Governor cycle, which should be cavalry. Now, it's entirely possible that the developers will inject the new infantry commanders into that Mightiest Governor as they have done in the past. However, I am inclined to believe that given that the patch is about to happen, that maybe they'll wait a little bit longer. For those of you that have been following on with my other videos that I've been creating, they sent out a system message. The ATOX or ATOX Glory is going live on the 29th. Presumably, that's when the assets and all the stuff related to these commanders is going to get put into the game. So assuming this goes off without a hitch, it is possible that we will see them on the 10th. But I think more likely is that we see them 2 weeks later on the 24th. Why do I think that? First of all, that is the Mightiest Governor for infantry. Remember, that 24th date is when the MGE Mightiest Governor would be ending. I think that would be pretty likely. It gives the developers a little bit more cushion. They did say middle of December anyways, and it overlaps with when infantry are supposed to be in-game anyways. I suppose you could root for one outcome or the other, depending on whether or not you wanted another Wheel of Joan Prime. Personally, I think it wouldn't be the worst if I got another Wheel of Joan Prime. I could finish off her skills just from doing that wheel. I'm already pretty close over here, but you get the idea. It's either going to be, in my opinion, 10th or 24th. But given that the developers have already given us a look at what these commanders will physically look like, I feel like it's unlikely they'll make us wait a whole month before we get our hands on them. So it is actually possible that very soon, like within about 2 weeks, we'll be getting our hands on these commanders and they'll be in the Mightiest Governor. I mean, I guess it could really go either way. The other thing we can try to speculate on is what talent trees they might have. And there actually is a little bit of guessing that we can do here based on the fact that most of the time when we get a Wheel of Fortune commander, it is a versatility commander. And if we look at the history of infantry versatility commanders, we've got Skippy Prime, who is recent, CJ, who was the previous infantry Wheel of Fortune commander, and even Alexander the Great is on the Wheel of Fortune with versatility. I feel like Leo is the only one that here, it really breaks the mold. He came from the mightiest governor and he has versatility, which is a little bit weird. So I think we're in store for a versatility commander. I think we're in store for an infantry commander. And, will it be skill or defense or attack? I feel like probably skill tree is something they just throw onto a lot of commanders. We got attack recently-ish here. I think skill tree is very likely. In fact, the one blue talent tree that we've never seen on any troop type except cavalry is the mobility tree, which is a little bit weird. Infantry doesn't have its own, unique talent tree besides infantry, right? For cavalry, you have both cavalry and mobility. For whatever reason, because cavalry move quickly. They haven't put mobility anywhere else. I think there is a possibility. Couldn't an infantry army be more, somewhat more mobile? I don't know. Could they do it on an archer army as well? But they haven't done it yet. They probably won't. The mightiest governor commander is almost certainly going to be the conquering commander, and I think that's better for everybody if it works out that way typically, because, that commander is generally oriented towards rallying. So if we get a look here, we look at the conquest tree, infantry, we have a few examples of that. We've got Guan Yu, we've got Harold, and we've got Pakal. Now, when we study this, we notice there is something missing here. We have no conquering commander that also has the support tree for infantry. So I think it is highly likely that we get infantry, conquering, and support. Okay, and if we get a look here, we've got infantry conquering skill in 2 places. We've got infantry conquering defense, but we don't have infantry conquering support. We know the developers do release that combination of conquering and support. They just did that with Henry. So I think it is likely that for Mightiest Governor, we get infantry conquering support, and that for the Wheel of Fortune, we get infantry skill versatility. As far as my plans for these commanders, I'm going to be potentially in the middle of KVK, potentially fighting on my main account. So I will probably be maxing both of these commanders very quickly. So if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, definitely consider doing so for the latest and greatest news as soon as it lands. Obviously here, I'm a little bit of an infantry simp with the best infantry set you can get in the game. And I know I talk about that a lot, but man, I spent a lot of money to get it, so I gotta talk about it, okay? So subscribe if you want to see this in action, rallying with the new commanders almost as soon as they land in game. I won't have much time before we're battling in KVK, so it should be a good time. If you're looking for more information about the Thanksgiving events, which are happening right now, I'll have a card in the end screen right over here. If you're looking for information about formations, which is now live in KVK Season 2, I'll have a card in the end screen for that right over here. This is really important to learn because it's going to be a big deal.